It looks like any other shed at first glance. It is big, clean, and has a few old cars in it. But if you go deeper inside, you'll find something completely surprising. The things that are hidden behind those shiny doors are not only amazing, they're unbelievable. How did no one notice this? It tells us a lot about the real Rick Harrison. You won't want to leave us once you see it. You might think this is where he relaxes. He was knee-deep in grease, gears, and oil before he became famous on the hit show Pawn Stars. Harrison's life was centered around two things: the pawn shop business and a serious love for cars. This was before he became famous on reality TV and Vegas glitz. That love didn't appear out of thin air. It began early. His father owned a car repossession business, and by the time he was 13, he was already working there and at the family pawn shop. It wasn't just a job. Harrison is honest about the fact that it was the start of his car addiction. It's not a stretch either. In his collection of more than 30 cars, he has everything from tough classics to strange one-of-a-kinds. His favorite cars are a 1940 Chevy Special Deluxe, a 1968 Mustang GT Fastback, and his first car, a 1973 Volkswagen Thing, which he keeps very close to his heart. He says that the VWs are pretty much bulletproof. In his garage, he also keeps a 1947 Power Wagon, a 1973 Jeep, 2 Harleys, dirt bikes, a tractor, and a 1940 Indian Chief motorbike with a sidecar. Harrison doesn't want to show off, though. It's about how much fun the machine is. He says it straight out: "I'm a car addict. There would be trouble if I brought home another car. I already have a lot of cars. That drive doesn't go away when the cameras stop rolling." After a long day, he relaxes by working with his machines when he's not shooting or at the gold and silver pawn shop. "I'm a real guy," he says. "I can't sit still. I just go home from work and work on my machine shop or the old cars." Even though he hasn't bought a NASCAR car yet because they're so fast, cool, and awesome, he hasn't been far from the track. Harrison has been seen at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, even on the fast lanes while Richard Petty was driving. Experience. He doesn't have his own race car, but he's seen his face on Jeremy Clemens's nationwide car at races in Las Vegas, which he finds funny. He says, "It makes me look like a jerk, but I love it." His trips in the car haven't always been fun. Harrison says the worst car he's ever owned was a 1969 Oldsmobile Delta 88 that he got for $150 when he was 17. He laughs and says, "It didn't have a back seat. I rode it for 6 months and put 4 or 5 quarts of oil every week in it." Now, here's the question. What happens when that kind of love for cars meets a love for designing homes? Does a house show horsepower? Join us to learn. Rick Harrison, who was on Pawn Stars, didn't just show off his fancy Las Vegas home when he opened the doors to his Red Rock Country Club home in Summerlin. It showed something about the man. As soon as you walk into the almost 9,000 square foot home, you can tell this isn't your average high-end offer. Harrison's personality and interests can be seen in every part of the house, especially in the ways that he has customized it. A lot of it came from his deep love of cars and his appreciation for design that is based on purpose. Harrison built more than just an 11C car garage. He called himself a gearhead and had a collection of 29 cars. That room and other parts of the house were filled with the very automobile-grade paint is something that speaks to his soul. This high-performance industrial paint, which cost between $500 and $1,500 per gallon, was used to cover the crown molding and many of the doors in the house. Why? Harrison said that car paint doesn't just come in deep, bright colors that regular paints can't match. In his case, it can handle the chaos that comes with having 6 kids and a bunch of grandchildren. He said that the car paint washes 100 times better. One room that stands out is the sitting room next to the formal dining room. It has a fireplace that stands out thanks to its bright green automotive paint and big Christopher Guy chairs. It's bold, useful, and says a lot about his taste. A mix of tough functionality and stylish flair. He says it's Rick from Pawn Stars. And the house shows that perfectly, with no airs and plenty of kind of attitude. Harrison had a lot of hobbies and cars that were taking up more and more space in his garage, which was already pretty big. One of the main reasons he chose to move was because of that restriction. He just recently bought a 1.5-acre ranch home in rural Clark County, with plans to build a 4,000-square-foot garage to better support his hobbies and projects that are getting bigger. The HOA could only do so much at the Red Rock home. The HOA is. Harrison made a joke about how he didn't like when he welded and had a million tools in his garage. It was a hint that his garage wasn't just for parking. It was for heavy-duty work like welding, fabrication, machinery, and other jobs that needed more freedom than a high-class area could provide. People who want to buy or just look at this house will find value not only in its high-end finishes and amenities, but also in the thought and quality that went into making the changes. Harrison did more than just fix up to show off. He designed the house with purpose, accuracy, and a craftsman's sense, using high-quality materials to fit a busy, multipurpose lifestyle. Each and every detail, from the long-lasting finishes on the cars to the roomy garage, was chosen with care. The home has a unique mix of form, function, and personal investment that makes it stand out from other high-end properties. A man who cares about both built a house with a story, strength and heart. The question is, what does a garage look like when it's more than just a place to park? Rick Harrison's shed with 11C cars isn't just a number-based brag. It's a well-thought-out balance between personal hobbies, lifestyle needs, and planning for the future. His 8,845-square-foot luxury home in Red Rock Country Club has a garage that is part of it. The garage also shows a tension between ambition and limited room. It became clear to Harrison that even a building this size wasn't enough for his growing list of hobbies. This garage has temperature control, which is a useful feature that is often missed. In a desert environment like Las Vegas, where high temperatures can damage car interiors, batteries, and paint, controlling the temperature is not a nice-to-have, but a must-have for any serious car collector. This feature shows that the room was made to keep not only the amount, but also the how good Harrison's collection has gotten over time. It shows that you are thinking about the long run and paying attention to the preservation of old or valuable cars. It's interesting that Harrison doesn't think the garage is the best place for him to store his things. He bought a one not long ago. 5-acre ranch in the Northwest Valley of rural Clark County, where they want to build a 4,000-square-foot garage. A big improvement that shows how big his collection is and how much it has grown since the where you live now. This plan also shows a change in how people live. He said that moving to a place without a strict homeowner association, HOA, would let him do more of his industrial hobbies, like welding and heavy mechanical work. This shows that his new room won't just be a place to store things. Most likely, it will turn into a workshop area that is part of his daily life. In addition to the cars, he stores a wide range of other tools in the garage. Tools. Harrison made a joke about needing room for a million machines, which showed that this garage has served many purposes. It's been Harrison's personal museum, a place to work on machines, and an industrial playground. One interesting thing about the garage is how it connects to the rest of the house. Harrison's garage is part of the general architectural story of the house, unlike many high-end garages that are hidden or put in as an afterthought. The house is full of different kinds of rooms, a gym, a wine cellar, and even a theater with 12 seats. Adding to this group is the garage, which is not an outbuilding but an integral and useful part of the house. This suggests that Harrison and the original builders or renovators worked together carefully on the design, possibly paying special attention to things like accessibility, power supply, and noise insulation, given the machinery and welding that was used. When the cars are off and the garage lights are off, what secret desire keeps Rick Harrison's mind racing? We'll tell you. It's loud and shiny inside Rick Harrison's garage, where old chrome and tools that tell stories of restoration and love can be heard. What drives him when the wrenches are put away might surprise you if you look inside his head. Harrison is also interested in something less loud, besides engines and horsepower. History. And not just the fancy stuff about kings and castles, but also the dirty, real, and sometimes strange truth about how people like you and me used to live. Harrison often reads books all at once, like some people watch TV shows all at once. He often tells people to read The Time Traveler's Guide to Medieval England by Ian Mortimer. The book is not a dry textbook, instead, it digs deep into everyday life in the 1400s. That's the right place for Harrison. He said that it was a book about the private lives of regular people. Not in the clean way that Hollywood might show it. He laughs and says, "Oh, life was so bad back then." That only partially hides how amazed he is. His eyes light up when he talks about how people in the Middle Ages lived in one-room homes stacked on top of each other and cooked, slept, and even had sex outside. There was one long room where everyone slept. He said, if you were very rich, you might have one wall blocked off in another room. That was luxury. There's an honesty to it. Harrison loves about those hard times. There was just a fire pit in the middle of the room with no walls, insulation, or vents to block the fire. Soot had turned the walls black. They used tallow, which is rendered animal fat, to make lamps. He also said they smelled bad. But it was real, dirty, hard, and interesting to a man who now lives in a world of sleek cars, climate-controlled sheds, and paint made for cars. In a way, his love for historical accuracy is like his car. An obsession. They are both interested in the same thing. A love of making things by hand, an interest in how people used to live, and a desire to keep pieces of the past alive, whether they are a repaired 1940 Chevy or a worn-out history book. On one page, Harrison might be covered in oil, and on the next, he might be reading about ancient peasants boiling roots over smoky hearths instead of torque specs. That could be the point. Rick Harrison is more than just a TV star and a car collector. He likes to keep track of time. In the quiet of his pawn shop, he looks for artifacts, and in his garage, he brings old tools back to life. What kind of car could possibly please a man who likes both old-fashioned cars and current high-powered cars? With one foot in the 1400s and the other on the gas pedal. Stay with us to find out. Rick Harrison has always loved cars and is very interested in history. He drove a 2018 Ford F-150 Raptor every day and is happy to say that it gets 10 out of 10 stars. Harrison loves that it has high ground clearance, good suspension, and a locking rear differential, which are all features he needs for the 5 months he spends living off the grid in the woods of Oregon. Going 70 miles per hour through the desert is enough for me. It's a beast, he says. It can. At 50, hit the bottom and keep going without stopping. It's more than just a truck to Harrison. It helps you stay alive. It easily tows, hauls, and handles rough terrain, like when he's hauling down trees or going along rough mining roads. He loves the truck, but he makes fun of the fact that the button that controls the side mirrors is in a bad place, so they often fold in by mistake while he's driving. When I try to roll down the window, I press the wrong button, and all of a sudden, my mirrors fold in on the highway. He laughs. He also says that the extra width, about 8 inches wider than a normal truck, makes it hard to park in cities, saying in jest that it's like going around a duel. Even though Harrison really loves the Raptor, his favorite car is the 1940 Chevrolet Special Deluxe that he had built just for him. After 12 years of work, this car now has a single engine, air suspension, and a roof that has been cut off. The car has a low roof and wide wheels. He dreamed of as a child, a nod to Hot Wheels and old picture magazines. Harrison likes the way cars were designed before Wabiu. He especially likes the beauty and skill of cars made in the 1930s and 1940s, which he thinks are much more stylish than cars made today. Cars back then had a lot of style. He says they were more than just tools, they were works of art. In his shed, he also has a beautiful 1966 Imperial Crown convertible that he got from his dad. There were only 600 made, and